All right, welcome back to the channel again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Got this video here that says CEO breaks silence after snatching hat from kid at US Open. You know, you see a lot of stuff like this. Baseball games where you see the grown man like taking the ball from the little kid or just something like that. I'ma just go out on a limb and say he's apologizing because he got caught. Like, do you not think people are going to see this? You know? Like, I don't know, but it's like, if he's doing it as a joke, if this is like one of his kids or something like that, then haha. But just right in front of the camera, man. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
That was a grown man in the stand stealing that hat from a child.
Millionaire is speaking out today after facing backlash for stealing a hat from a child at the US Open this week.
What kind of grown man snatches a gift meant for a child on live TV in front of millions of people?
You see the kid go, he was like, yo. Like, I don't know if he goes to use it because they said millionaire, he's a CEO. I don't know if he goes to these events a lot. He's just trying to collect stuff or what. But like, he clearly was giving it to the kid. It's like, come on, dude. Like, look at that.
Millionaire is speaking out today after facing backlash for stealing a hat from a child at the US Open this week.
What kind of grown man snatches a gift meant for a child on live TV in front of millions of people? That's exactly what set the internet on fire when a clip from the US Open went viral.
And it sucks too, because the player didn't even be like, unless he wasn't even making eye contact, unless he just like kind of signed it and threw it up with his head, but it looked like he saw the man take it. Like, normally they'd be like, yo, that's for the kid.
It all started right after Kamil Majcrzak's match at the US Open. The Polish player had just pulled off a win and wanted to give back to his fans. He spotted a boy named Brock near the court, walked over, and lifted his cap toward him. It was one of those small but unforgettable fan moments. But then something no one expected happened. Before the cap reached the kid's hands, Piotr Szczurek, a Polish CEO, leaned in, grabbed it, and claimed it for himself.
He said, bro.
The boy tried to protest, but the cap was already gone. The entire thing was caught on camera, and in seconds, the clip started spreading. What made it worse was the reaction of the boy. His disappointment was clear, and the crowd knew instantly this wasn't how the moment was supposed to go. Online, the scene was replayed endlessly. People zoomed in, slowed it down, and shared it with captions calling the act greedy, shameless, and downright bizarre. By the time most people woke up the next day, nearly everyone scrolling social feeds had seen it. And the question hanging in the air was simple. Who was this man? And why would he do that? But that wasn't the whole story, because the internet didn't just stop at mocking the video, it went looking for answers. The internet doesn't rest, especially when a clip like this goes viral. Within hours, online sleuths had tracked down the man in the video. His name? Piotr Szczurek, a wealthy CEO from Poland who runs a paving company called Drogbrook. Suddenly, this wasn't just a viral clip. It was a public scandal attached to a name, a face, and a business. And with that connection, the backlash exploded. People flooded comment sections, memes started flying, and even his company's search results got Google bombed. Instead of seeing ads or normal information about his business, people searching his...
Hey boy, the internet detectives will find you and find you fast. You know what I mean? Find you fast. I'm curious to see how this is going to end. Did he end up like doing something for the kid, or did the tennis player?
Were met with headlines and posts about the stolen hat. For a CEO, that's a nightmare that money can't easily fix. Meanwhile, Kamil Majcrzak, the tennis player, didn't sit back. He turned to social media and asked fans to help him track down the boy who had been left empty-handed.
Well, the tennis player did ask for the kid to be found. The kid was found, and as I understand it, he brought the kid in and made the kid whole.
That call worked. He eventually found Brock, the young fan from the clip, and made things right, meeting him in person, signing autographs. and handing over more memorabilia. The kid walked away smiling, but for the CEO, the damage was already done. And that's when the pressure turned unbearable. People weren't just angry, they wanted to hear directly from the man who grabbed the hat. And soon they would. With the internet raging and his company's name dragged through the mud, Piotr Szczurek finally broke his silence. Days after the incident, he posted a formal statement on his company's website. For many, this was the moment they had been waiting for, an explanation, an apology, maybe even some accountability. In his statement, Szczurek said he believed the hat was being handed to him, not the boy. He explained that his sons had asked for autographs earlier, and in the chaos of the crowd, he thought Majtrzak was trying to give the cap to them. He admitted it was a mistake, apologized to the boy, the family, the fans, and even the tennis player himself. But the way—
Now, I said in the beginning, because I was thinking like, I said something about kids, like, is he giving it to his kid or something like that? Like, he could have been sitting down there and he walked over where the dude was signing. So I'm gonna get him, get his hat or whatever. And see, that right there makes it not so bad. I think it would have been better if the tennis player right there in that moment would have been like, yo, this is for this kid right here. That would have made it better. But the fact that he just kind of snatched it from the kid, and you don't see his kids in the frame, that's what make it look extremely, extremely bad.
it was worded raised eyebrows. He described the boy as injured, which led some to think the translation might have gone sideways. Was he talking about emotional hurt, or did he actually think he'd caused physical harm? Either way, people weren't buying it. He also made a point to say something else. None of the posts floating around online, statements supposedly from him, his wife, or his lawyers, were real. He claimed he never threatened to sue critics, never posted snarky remarks, and never defended his actions in the way people were sharing. According to him, it was all fake content made to stir the drama even further. To protect his family, he even limited or disabled comments on his official post. On paper, it was the responsible move, but online, it only made people more suspicious. And that's where things got tricky, because his apology might have checked the right boxes, but the internet wasn't convinced. But that wasn't the end of the story, because when people compared his words to what they actually saw in the video, the gap was impossible to ignore. Here's the problem. The video told one story, but his apology told another. In the clips, Szczurek didn't politely reach for the cap. He snatched it. The boy pulled back and even said, "No, what are you doing?" But the man held on and ignored him. It looked deliberate. It looked greedy. Now compare that with his explanation that it was all just a misunderstanding, that he thought the cap was meant for his kids. On paper, it sounds like an easy mistake, but when people replayed the footage, that version didn't line up. If he really thought it was for him, why rip it out of a child's hands? Why ignore the boy's protests? That's why his apology fell flat. It felt less like an honest confession and more like damage control. Instead of owning what people clearly saw, he leaned on confusion and mistranslation. The gap between his words and the video made it easy for viewers to dismiss him. Reactions online summed it up. Nobody believed it was just inattention. People saw focus, intent, and even entitlement in his actions. To them, it wasn't—
Was that somebody he knew right there recording as well? The lady with the red phone?
slip up. It was a choice. And if that wasn't bad enough, rumors started swirling that made the whole situation even messier. As the clip kept circulating, unverified claims began to surface. Some posts said Szczurek snapped at the boy, allegedly telling him, if you were faster, you would have it. Others claimed he or his legal team threatened to take action against anyone criticizing him online. These statements spread quickly, shared across forums and Twitter as if they were fact. But here's the catch. Szczurek denied all of it. He said those quotes didn't come from him, his wife, or his lawyers. And to be fair, news outlets that covered the incident also flagged these posts as unverified. In other words, they could just be made-up lines that people pushed to get clicks or stir outrage. Still, by the time he clarified, the damage was already done. Memes and angry comments don't pause for fact checks. His name was now tied not only to the video, but also to a flood of wild rumors. And that's a storm few reputations can survive. Meanwhile, the business impact was real. His company's search results got hijacked by the scandal, with memes and negative headlines overtaking his brand online, even though he insisted he had spent years supporting kids and athletes through community initiatives. One viral clip undid all of that in the public eye. And while Mitrachuk moved on with his tournament, before eventually retiring due to an injury, the video lived on, replayed endlessly as a lesson in how one moment can redefine someone's entire image. The story could have ended with the apology, but instead it became about how fast reputations can collapse. In the end, what was supposed to be a simple fan moment turned into a global spectacle. A boy went home disappointed, a tennis player had to step in to fix things, and a millionaire CEO found himself in the middle of a scandal. His apology may have checked the right boxes, but the video told its own story. And for most people, that story was impossible to ignore. What stands out isn't just the act of grabbing a hat, it's how fast the internet reacted, how quickly internet sleuths uncovered his name, and how rumors, true or not, fueled the fire. In just a few days, his reputation shifted from a businessman to viral villain. It also raises a bigger question. If cameras hadn't been rolling, if millions of eyes hadn't been watching, would there have been an apology at all? Or would the moment have disappeared like so many others that never make it online? One thing's clear. In the digital age, even the smallest choices can define you. For Strek, a single grab at the US Open became the moment that reshaped how the world sees him. So, what do you think? Was this really just a misunderstanding blown out of proportion, or a rare glimpse of someone's true character caught on camera?
Yeah, see, it's gonna be too hard for you to fight the allegations just because of how aggressive it was. And the thing is, you know you're being recorded. Like, you know you're being recorded. So that goes to the mentality of I can have whatever I want. You know, again, it's hard to say that this would have made it, such and such would have made it better just because we seen what really happened. You know, I'm just saying, like, if his kid was right there in front of him and a dude handed the hat, like, in the middle of both kids, I don't know. I don't know. But these never go well. You know, the fact that you didn't give the hat to the kid right there in the moment, you like left with it, that just made it even worse. Like when the kid was like, I don't know if he said no or bro, whatever he said, you should have gave him the hat back right then and there. Because in the kid's mind, it was for him, you know? And then you go and you maybe say to the guy, yo, is it possible I can get one for my son? You know? Do I dare go to the comments? A lot of people just saying shame on you. It's never going to go well, man. It's never going to go well when there's an adult and a child, ever. But like I said, like even like the fact that he's trying to give this for his son, you just can't do that. In his mind, he went there like, I'm going to get this hat for my son. I don't care who's in the way. Yeah. I mean, that got CEO written all over it. Hey, but again, appreciate y'all coming over. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, man. Peace out.